Fannie Mae ANSI update number 139, page 32. Exhibits for appraisals with exterior only property inspections. The following exhibits are required for appraisals with exterior only property inspections: street map that shows the location of both the subject property and the comparable sales, and a photograph that shows the front scene of the subject property. Note: when appraisals based on exterior only inspections are used in connection with a one-unit investment property, Form 1007 must accompany the appraisal if the borrower is using rental income to qualify. Otherwise, Form 1007 is not required. Appraiser certifications and limiting conditions. Each Fannie Mae appraisal report form includes an appraiser certification and, if applicable, a supervisory appraiser certification, and a statement of assumptions and limiting conditions. Appraisers may not add limiting conditions. The appraiser may not make changes or deletions to the existing certifications. However, the appraiser may make additional certifications that can be included on a separate page or form. Acceptable additional certifications might include those required by state law, those related to the appraiser's continuing education or membership in an appraisal organization, or those related to the appraiser's compliance with privacy laws and regulations in the development, reporting, and storage of an appraisal and the information on which it is based. Lenders are responsible for reviewing any additional certifications made by appraisers to ensure that they do not conflict with Fannie Mae's policies or standard certifications on Fannie Mae appraisal forms. The appraiser certification number 23 is an acknowledgement by the appraiser that certain parties to a mortgage finance transaction that are not the lender/client and/or intended user may rely on the appraisal report. This certification clarifies that such other parties include the borrower, another lender at the request of the borrower, the mortgagee, or its successors, and assigns mortgage insurers, government-sponsored enterprises, and other secondary market participants. Fannie Mae will accept the following additional notice or statement when appraisers believe the lender/client is the only intended user. Page 33. The intended user of this appraisal report is the lender/client. The intended use is to evaluate the property that is the subject of this appraisal for a mortgage finance transaction, subject to the stated scope of work, purpose of the appraisal, reporting requirements of this appraisal report form, and definition of market value. No additional intended users are identified by the appraiser. Related announcements. The table below provides references to the announcements that have been issued that are related to this something. Announcements. Issue date. Announcement SEL 2014-03, April 15th, 2014. Announcement SEL 2012-06, issued June 26, 2012. Announcement SEL 2011-10, statement September 27, 2011. Announcement SEL 2011-06, issued July 26, 2011. Announcement SEL 2010-09, issue date June 30th, 2010. Announcement 08-30, issued November 14th, 2008. B4-1 period 2-02, appraisal age and use requirements. April 15, 2014. Introduction. This topic contains information on the age of collateral documents, update requirements, and the use of an appraisal for a subsequent transaction, including age of appraisal and appraisal update requirements, use of an appraisal for a subsequent transaction, age of appraisal and appraisal update requirements. Properties must be appraised within the 12 months that precede the date of the note and mortgage. Page 34. When an appraisal report will be more than 4 months old on the date of the note and mortgage, regardless of whether the property was appraised as proposed or existing construction, the appraiser must inspect the exterior of the property and review current market data to determine whether the property has declined in value since the date of the original appraisal. This inspection and results of the analysis must be reported on the appraisal update and/or completion report, Form 1004D. If the appraiser indicates on the Form 1004D that the property value has declined, then the lender must obtain a new appraisal for the property. If the appraiser indicates on the Form 1004D that the property value has not declined, then the lender may proceed with the loan in process without requiring any additional fieldwork. Note: the appraisal update must occur within the 4 months that precede the date of the note and mortgage. The original appraiser should complete the appraisal update. However, lenders may use substitute appraisers. When updates are completed by substitute appraisers, the substitute appraiser must review the original appraisal and express an opinion about whether the original appraiser's opinion of market value was reasonable on the date of the original appraisal report. The lender must note in the file why the original appraiser was not used. CB 4-1, period 3-12, quality assurance for information concerning changes to the appraiser's value. CB 2-1, period 4-02, mortgage loan eligibility for information regarding property valuation requirements for mortgage loans sold to Fannie Mae more than 4 months from the note date. Use of an appraisal for a subsequent transaction. Fannie Mae will allow the use of an origination appraisal for a subsequent transaction if the following requirements are met. The subsequent transaction may only be a limited cash-out refinance. The appraisal report must not be more than 12 months old on the note date of the subsequent transaction. If the appraisal report is greater than 4 months old on the date of the note and mortgage, then an appraisal update is required. See preceding section, age of appraisal and appraisal update requirements for completing an appraisal update. The lender must ensure that the property has not undergone any significant remodeling, renovation, or deterioration to the extent that the improvement or deterioration of the property would materially affect the market value of the subject property. Page 35. The borrower and the lender/client must be the same on the original and subsequent transaction. Note: the appraisal must comply with all other requirements in the underwriting property section of the selling guide. Related announcements. The table below provides references to the announcements that have been issued that are related to this topic. Announcement SEL 1403, issued April 15, 2014. Announcement SEL 2013-03, issued April 9, 2013. Announcement SEL 2011-06, issued July 26, 2011. Announcement SEL 2011-03, issued March 31st, 2011. Announcement SEL 2010-09, issued June 30th, 2010. B4-1 period 2-03, requirements for postponed improvements. April 15, 2014. Introduction. This topic contains information on postponed improvements, including overview, requirements for new or proposed construction, requirements for existing construction, requirements for the energy improvement feature on existing construction. Overview. Improvements for the subject property must be complete when the mortgage is delivered to Fannie Mae. However, in some circumstances, Fannie Mae does not allow a loan to be delivered prior to improvements being completed. Page 36. Requirements for new or proposed construction. When the property securing the mortgage is new or proposed construction, the appraisal may be based on either plans or specifications or an existing model home. The table below describes requirements related to properties that are new or proposed construction that are not complete when the mortgage is delivered to Fannie Mae. Requirements for new or proposed construction. Mortgages may be delivered before postponed items are complete. However, the postponed improvements must be completed within 180 days of the date of the mortgage note. Acceptable postponed items include items that are part of the sales contract. Third-party contracts are not permissible. Are postponed for a valid reason, such as inclement weather or a shortage of building materials, and do not affect the ability to obtain an occupancy permit. A certification of completion must be obtained to verify the work was completed and must be completed by the appraiser. State that the improvements were completed in accordance with the requirements and conditions in the original appraisal report, and be accompanied by photographs of the completed improvements. The cost of completing improvements must not represent more than 10% of the as completed appraised value of the property. Lenders must establish a completion escrow for the postponed improvements by withholding from the purchase proceeds funds equal to 120% of the estimated cost for completing the improvements. However, if the contractor or builder offers a guaranteed fixed price contract for completion of the improvements, the funds in the completion escrow only need to equal the full amount of the contract price. Lenders and borrowers must execute an escrow agreement that states how the escrow account will be managed and how funds from the escrow account will be dispersed. The completion escrow may not adversely affect the mortgage insurance or title insurance. Once a certification of completion is obtained, the lender must release the final draw from the escrow account, which should include any funds in excess of the amount needed to pay for completion of the postponed items. Page 37. Requirements for new or proposed construction. Lenders must obtain a final title report, which must not show any outstanding mechanics liens. Take any exceptions to the postponed improvements, or take any exceptions to the escrow agreement. If the final title report is issued before the completion of the improvements, lenders must obtain an endorsement to the title policy that ensures the priority of Fannie Mae's lien. Requirements for existing construction. Lenders must review the appraisal to ensure that the property does not have minor conditions or deferred maintenance items that affect the safety, soundness, or structural integrity of the subject property. See B4-1 period 3-06. Property condition and quality of construction of the improvements. For information concerning property condition and quality of construction ratings. The tables below provide requirements related to existing properties that have physical deficiencies, minor conditions, or deferred maintenance items that may or may not affect the safety, soundness, or structural integrity of the property. Requirements for existing construction when there are minor conditions or deferred maintenance items that do not affect the safety, soundness, or structural integrity of the property. If the appraisers reports the existence of minor conditions or deferred maintenance items that do not affect the safety, soundness, or structural integrity of the property, the appraiser may complete the appraisal as is, and these items must be reflected in the appraiser's opinion of value. Minor conditions and deferred maintenance items include, but are not limited to, worn floor finishes or carpet, minor plumbing leaks, holes in window screens, or cracked window glass, and are typically due to normal wear and tear. The lender is not required to ensure that the borrower has had this work completed prior to delivery of the loan to Fannie Mae. If there are minor conditions or deferred maintenance items to be remedied or completed after closing, the lender may escrow for these items at its own discretion and still deliver the loan to Fannie Mae prior to the release of the escrow, as long as the lender can ensure that these items do not affect the safety, soundness, or structural integrity of the property. Requirements for existing construction when there are incomplete items or conditions that do affect the safety, soundness, or structural integrity of the property. When there are incomplete items or conditions that do affect the safety, soundness, or structural integrity of the property must be appraised subject to completion of the specific alterations or repairs. These items can include a partially completed addition or renovation or physical deficiencies that could affect the safety, soundness, or structural integrity of the improvements, including but not limited to cracks or settlement in the foundation, water